Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back with more of the Counselor React, specifically more Destiny 2. Today, we're talking about the future of Destiny and how it looks pretty grim. This all starts out, to be honest, with a tweet from a YouTuber known as Glad. I'll read what he says, and this is going to kick us off to this conversation and the entire theme of the video. I'll say what others won't. Destiny's new episodes are just renamed seasons. It's a way to similar cadence and model. It's a marketing tactic to rename things to spark excitement in an exhausted game. Destiny needs a complete restart. New everything, nothing carried over. And this has sparked a lot of controversy. A lot of people, the year is 2028, Destiny is past its initial hype and the player count continues to drop. Bungie announces the 4th remaster of Vault of Glass and the return to Mountaintop as a key reward on hyper strikes. And that's kind of the theme, right? Yeah, I don't see myself getting that invested in the game again without a sequel. They could top the final shape next year, and after the first week, I'll still be off the game. And I'm gonna give my personal opinion. I think there's a lot of delusion. There's a lot of delusion with people 100% agree. We'll get to Grenade Jake, which is he's made some statements. I want to look at some more things about this topic about Destiny needing a reset, because right now, if you're new to Destiny or if you've played Destiny, we just finished the final shape. I think it was at least a 7 out of 10, maybe 8. I do have some grievances with the final shape, which I eventually will do a review about to give an in-depth detail, a brutally honest review. But so far, I'm like 7, 8 out of 10. It's definitely not the worst the worst expansion we've ever had in Destiny, but it's also not the greatest, in my opinion. But overall, it had a lot of hype, a lot of build-up. The finale was there. I think people have this disillusion that the final shape was a beginning, when in actuality, it's a conclusion. Like, it is the end. It feels like a conclusion, as it should be. I do want to kind of go down the line. Like I said, this post from Glad has sparked a lot of people on Twitter, and I've seen it all in my timeline. So let's read some more what people have to say. Not that one. Correct. The final shape's narrative beats gave us a closure in a way that felt very whole. People were invested, emotional, and ultimately satisfied. They pulled off the impossible. It peaked. Everything else in D2 now will pale in comparison. It's been a ride, truly. And it is. I think could they have done a better way of wrapping up the story? 100%. But I think it was very acceptable in the way that it was. I think it did as much service to the community. I mean, I know there's going to be people in the comments who are going to disagree with me and say you're absolutely wrong. And you know what? That's fair. That is each to their own. You can absolutely feel like it wasn't justified. Overall, I liked it. But a lot of people were coming, like I said, a lot of people were coming to the defense. What do you think about Destiny 3 switching to a more traditional live service game with a monthly subscription? Would solve a lot of the I don't know where to start and what DLC to buy problems. Cathalion made a very interesting post about it. Let me try to find it. Destiny 2 has run its course. It's time for a new game. Do like 200 years in the future and we're a whole new Guardian, only bring back the handful of Vanguard members and that's it. Have these seasons tied up loose ends and not exactly set anything up. Overall, I agree with the above statement. And that's the thing, like, we had this conclusion of the big baddie, the biggest baddie we've had. And then it feels like it's just back to clockwork. We're back to the traditional, what we know, do your little, like, I don't care about the story. I'm going to be honest. You can't go from taking on the witness to now we are dealing with some Vex. We're dealing with the conductor who's based off of a character that no one knows or cares about. Like, yes, did we get some information about Maya, Sundaresh in Lightfall, which that's a fantastic delivery, by the way. People didn't even realize that there was even core story components in a computer room and a mission that's across the map that no one ever saw. I mean, there was a gun attached to it, and it showed that only like 1% people owned the gun because half the people in the community didn't even know where the hell it was in the first place. So Bungie's just done a garbage job of really tying in the story, especially with Lightfall. But even more so, we are introduced a new character that half of people don't even know who it is, and people are invested. Like, how are you going to go from here's the big baddie to the conductor, who's really not that menacing right now? Like, we have not seen anything menacing. I think Act 2, Mission 1 was probably the most impactful we've had, but even then, I'm still not feeling the impact, the threats. It's not enticing. It's not pulling me in. It's not like, oh wow, I'm excited for the story. I don't care. And I have some choice thoughts about like what the problem of episodes are, and we'll get to that in a minute. I just want to kind of read the vibe, so it's not just me. It's a vibe check to see what else people are thinking about when it comes to episodes in Destiny as a whole. So we'll go over here where from Scarrow 9. Nothing better summarizes my least favorite parts of Season's episodes more than the quest steps this week that go like, collect things on Nessus. Osiris, hurry back. The Helm Guardian, it's Saint. He needs help. Osiris, Saint is in mega trouble. Go on Nessus. Help. Yeah, I mean, it's just like this, bro, we're there, man. Yeah, it's a lot of going back and forth, and we still have those components where it's like, do the battleground. Oh, then do the battleground again. Oh, and then do another battleground. But you also got to do this. And it's like, and the problem with the content is more content doesn't equal good content. And I gave the episode episode 1 praise because in Act 2, they introduced even more content, which is great. I think that's great. We have more activities. But again, more doesn't always mean better. You need quality over quantity. There's a reason why people liked Onslaught. Even though it's one core activity, people love that. And I'm going to dive into that later why. But overall, people do not like the layout of seasons or episodes. And they have done nothing to change that foundational thing that the community does not like. And there's a lot of people coping, like, trying to defend Bungie. It's like, it was just the first act. And yet, Act 2 really hasn't shaped much of a difference. I mean, it's crazy. Ryan Williams, Bungie's unwillingness to talk about future plans, including more details on the next expansion, but especially the reprise raid, is killing a lot of my interest in episodes. Yeah, I want the new rocket siren, but I need Bungie to tell me what activities I'll need it for. And that is huge. Who cares about the loot if there's nothing like interesting to like, oh, that's why people loved Onslaught. We had all these new toys and we were going to be able to use them in the next expansion. We were excited to gear up for this climatic battle. And now there's no big baddie. There's nothing that's like, wow, we need to gear up. We need to be prepared. We need to have the best of the best. There's nothing about reprise raids right now. Like, we haven't heard anything about reprise raid that we would actually care about. Sure, there's Grandmasters, but Grandmasters are a joke. I mean, next week we're going to get the Liminality Grandmaster, and that's going to be hard because we haven't mastered it. We don't know what to expect from it. But once people figure out the tricks and tips on how to beat it, it's going to become child's play. It's just like Dark Souls. That's why there's people that are one-shotting the final boss in the Elden Ring DLC, or not one-shotting, but literally making a joke out of the bosses, because once you understand how the game fundamentally works, you understand mechanics, you can master it. And I know that's like really top-notch 1%. There's a lot of people in the community that struggle with just base Grandmasters, and I'm sorry, but I'm speaking from a general dedicated viewpoint. Someone who's not necessarily a casual, but understands the casual points. But I'm directly focusing on the overall people who've been here since day one, right? I've been here since Destiny 1, way back in the day. And it's crazy. That they haven't said anything. Like, yeah, we have Frontiers, but there's nothing that's like exciting. Ooh, here's a hint. Frontiers. What the hell is that? Why should I care? And I'm curious what he said. So we're going to click on this one. I don't know about the only way to keep Destiny is interesting, but I am absolutely dying to hear info on a reprise raid. I'm starting to be very worried that no news is bad news. And obviously this person said, only way to keep Destiny interesting to a lot of people right now is to announce the next remastered raid, since raids keep people excited for the next day one race. And there's some truth to that, right? There's some truth to that. But I think overall, if the next 2 dungeons each have a dungeon, I do not see this happening. Exactly what I'm thinking. And the problem with that, the problem with this right here is that you have to pay for dungeons. You don't get the dungeons free. So they're removing the free aspect, and we'll get to that in a minute, hopefully, if I remember. Destiny is not a free to play, it's a free to try. And so they're removing more free options. Reprise raids have always been free, but now it's only paid dungeons that you have to pay outside of just the seasons. They're not a one and done. I'm gonna be honest. I think that seasons or episodes should be 100% free. If you want to make dungeons paid, fine. If you want to make expansions paid, fine. I think that seasonal content, if they are going to keep seasonal content the way that it is, and I know it's episodes, but it's seasons. Let's be honest, it's season. They're going to keep it the way it is, then they need to wipe clean and just go free. Truly, like Destiny, the problem with Destiny, it has an identity crisis right now. Destiny has an identity crisis. It wants to be casual and free to play, but then it wants to be like a story game where they want you to pay for individual content. Like they're trying to do both. They're trying to play both sides of the game. And what they really need is choose one. I'm okay if they want to do expansions paid, but if they're going to say they're free to play, they need to be free to play. If they want to lean into microtransactions, do it. I don't care. But make the seasonal stuff, make the exotic missions, make all that free. If you're going to commit to it being casual, then commit to being casual. Let the players know what to expect, because you have people that they're craving content, and you're paying all this money. You're paying for seasons, you're paying for expansions. Where the hell is the free to play aspect? Where's the free stuff? And if they're not going to release any more reprise raids, which makes no sense, we have so many D2 raids. I get not wanting to bring back Wrath of the Machines. I love it. I love Wrath of the Machines. It hurts my heart if it doesn't come back. But there's no excuse why D2 raids can't come back. There's no excuse. We've literally done away with the vaulting except for seasonal content, which is another issue. You have core story beats. Like, why should I give a crap about the conductor when like a year, it's going to go away and it's going to be as if that never existed? Hell, why should people care about this expansion about Saint Osiris when people don't know what the hell's going on, because all the storyline stuff about the corridors of time is gone. It's not in the game. So why would people give a crap about this crisis that Saint's having about whether he's real or not? Like, who gives a crap? No one. It doesn't give a crap. No one gives a crap. I'm not invested because I know in a year it's just going to go away, so who cares? Let's see. We talked about that. Let's go to Grenadier Jake. He is probably a good representation for PvP. We've heard from PvE players, I believe. Maybe some of them are PvP, but I know for a fact that Grenadier Jake is a PvPer. And I want to read, because even he's stepping back. I've always valued transparency, so let's get transparent. For the first time in a very long time, I'm unsure what the future of my stream looks like. The final shape hype is wearing off, and this is the first time there isn't a promise or even an expected hype for the future of Destiny. So what does this mean for me? Well, this should be no surprise, but Trial of Osiris has been my primary focus since 2015. I've built a strong system around it. All my streaming numbers are up while I play it, and I generally enjoy it far more than anything else I've ever streamed. I absolutely love doing trials carries, which is why I've built my entire stream schedule around the playlist. So what's the issue? Well, in order for trials to be enjoyable, the playlist needs to be populated. I've seen what happens when the playlist dwindles: long queues, laggy matches, higher concentration of cheaters and stream snipers, and way less fun to be had. The results are me having less fun and less people wanting to watch. As mentioned above, the final shape hype has worn off, and there are little potential for hype on the horizon. So I find myself now playing a waiting game. How long would trials still be fun and worth streaming? 1 to 2 months, 4 to 5 months, only time will tell. And here's the thing, I'm extremely at peace with everything I just wrote as a player. I'm absolutely love the 10-year journey Destiny has provided me. I'm satisfied. As a streamer, I'm proud of myself back in 2015 with how much fun I'm having in trials and with how much demand there was to play and watch. I built a system around the idea of helping folks, and it helped blow my channel up. Since I've poured all my energy into streaming trials for nearly 10 plus years, now I've given it everything I've got, and I'll always be extremely proud of that. I'm at peace with the idea of potentially fading away. To conclude a bit, I'm not saying Destiny is dying, and I'm not saying my stream is dying. I genuinely believe Destiny 3 will come out one day, and I believe the hardcore players will continue to play between now and then. As for my stream, I have an incredible community, and I know I can continue to do whatever I want on Twitch and still have support of the Jungle Squad. Yeah, I disagree. I think Destiny is dying. Here we are. We have the Steam numbers. This is just Steam, but as you can see, right now, as of talking, 30 rounded up to 40%, almost 50% of the population has died off. That's massive, and it's only going to get lower. But then you have games like Warframe, who's pretty consistent. It's been around as long as Destiny, and it's a true free-to-play game, and it is popping off. It is doing better, and it didn't even release like a big expansion. It releases small expansions, and yet it has a strong, dedicated community. Not only that, but the devs are very invested in the said community. But then we have the new runner. We have the First Descendant, which is popping off. And I'm going to do a separate video talking about the devs for the First Descendant compared to Bungie. But overall, this game has a lot more potential than Destiny in regards to the community and in the game itself. But overall, yes, Destiny is dying. Is that prototypical? Absolutely. We've seen these numbers. Look how it goes up and down, up and down. It's very consistent with the population. Like, let's go to All Life. This is the trend. There we have skyrocket, then it goes down, skyrocket, and it goes down. But what makes this different than other expansions where we see a high rise and a dip? Because there's nothing on the horizon. We have nothing to be excited for. Every expansion is always led into something new, some bigger threat. I mean, look at Witch Queen. We had Savathun, which has been led up throughout the different seasons in the lore as a big baddie. We face off again. We had a great intro, a great middle, and a very fantastic end. And then we got this cliffhanger introducing the Witness, the big baddie. But the final shape didn't do that. I mean, sure, we had the raid that mentioned a big baddie. Sure, we got some lore about the big baddie talking to us, which is stupid. It should have been in game, and that's part of the problem. Imagine when we did the 12-man excision mission, instead of us just completely just blowing up the Witness is about to blow up, but instead, out of the void, this thing, this being, this hand, this voice comes out and straight up murders the Witness. It sets an entire precedent that there is something bigger than the Witness that we have to prepare for. We have a time of peace for now, but we know in the horizon, we've got a pending threat, a new baddie. We've got peace now, but we know there's something coming. We didn't get that in the final shape. That's where I feel the ending killed Destiny. Like, literally, the way they capped it off, it almost felt like a single player game. Capped it off, we're done, that's it. Now, I do want to watch a video called The Future. We're watching a clip from Astacross. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to pause the video and we're going to listen. I want to hear what I found this clip, and let's just listen to it.
With Lightfall for sure. The final shape had all this hype building up to it.
Exactly.
And you know, we were preparing for war, man. We were preparing to take on the Witness. And like, will we ever get back to that moment again? I mean, it's a high that you get addicted to. And that's just the way, I think that's the way every storyline ever is that are great storylines. You have your buildups, then you have your peaks, and then there's like a feeling of emptiness. And I will say, just kind of observing the community, there's kind of like this feeling of emptiness, maybe feeling of like lack of motivation since the final shape is over. And I think,
and that's because this was a conclusion. Bungie did not set this up as a new beginning. They set this up as a conclusion. And that's where people, if they treated and acted like this was a single player mission and how they ended it. And if like Halo 3, the way they capped it off, you felt it like, okay, this is the end. And then obviously they rebooted it with Halo 4, with 343s did at least. But overall, like, you play a Dark Souls game, it ends. It doesn't allude into a second game. It just ends. And that's how the final shape does it. It ends. Sure, they have like a little teaser, like, ooh, we've got the echoes, man. But that wasn't it. It does not set the precedence of a bigger threat coming. It doesn't set the tone of we've got real imminent danger. It's just like, oh, we gotta go hunt those down. We're on an adventure. Yay. And you can't do that right after having such a climatic moment. That's like if the Avengers just beat Thanos, and then they go out and the team has to go fight like this mini boss. Of course, this mini boss in the new Avengers is not going to look like much of a threat compared to Thanos and Endgame. Like literally, like it's what the heck. And that's why a lot of the movies after Endgame have been lackluster, and people are like, okay, well, these are horrible villains. These are horrible bosses that these heroes are fighting. And that's kind of where we're at right now. It's like, why do I care? Why do I care about the conductor?
I think a large part of that is due to the fact that, you could say it's because of episodes. You could say that the seasonal cadence. But you could also just say that we just came off of a hell of a high. From the finest
exactly,
to the day one raid, Salvation's Edge, prismatic, exotic class items. I mean, dude, that's a hell of a high. It's almost like reading a really good book or watching a really good show. You know it's a really good show or a good book whenever you finish it and you're depressed.
And he mentions exotic class items. I think that is a great example of having something to chase. Granted, they did kill the double glitch, which has killed a lot of motivation for people. But I think that is they have a template. Onslaught, they have a template, which we'll get to in a minute. I'm going to let him finish.
That sounds terrible. But like when it hits and it hits, you feel it the days and weeks after. You almost just feel this sadness that comes over you. Like, man, that was an experience. And it almost like it sets in like, will I ever get an experience like that ever again? It's the unfortunate downside to experiencing greatness. And I have experienced that before, where good works of art have had just ripped my stomach out. A perfect comparison for that is Elden Ring. I had not played Elden Ring, but for just a little bit when it first came out. And then a few weeks ago, the DLC rolled out. We played it. We played the DLC.
I've yet to play Elden Ring.
That game, I felt kind of empty, man. It kind of messed me up. I was like, wow, I'm never going to be able to experience that first time. And I remember y'all came.
And that's the thing. He's talking about a single player game that's meant to be played for a single time experience. Now, can you obviously replay it and do, yeah, right? There's always new game plus and stuff like that. But in general, like if you're wanting the feeling and the experience, it's usually a one and done. Whereas live services are the problem with live service games in general is that it's an ongoing experience. And when you set a very high, if you do not lead into a possibility with another high, people don't care. And that's the problem where we're at with the final shape and in the episodes. There is nothing that we know on the horizon. We do not care. It's hard to be like, man, what a great conclusion. What's next? I don't know. It's like like you said, reading a good book, you're done, and that's it. There's no, if the author came out and said, hey, we're having another trilogy, this is what it's about. Wow, I'm excited. Can't wait. But we're not getting that right now. We have just episodes, which is like reading light novels or fan fiction of like side crap that no one gives a crap about.
Came in the stream and said it. You're like, less motivated to play Destiny right now. It's always okay to take a break if you need to. You don't have to get every single weapon right now and get every single class item combo right now. Matter of fact, if you wait a little bit, I'm sure Bungie's going to figure out a better system for us to obtaining class items. So
absolutely.
Maybe not leading us. Is that these episodes going to lead to anything, or is it just filler stuff? Oh, it's definitely leading to something. It's just maybe not leading us to the thing that we were, we have grown accustomed to. Outside of the lore surrounding the fact that the winner, we had some big lore.
The winner, yeah, that's his name.
Literally revealed himself to us. He literally,
which wasn't in. That should have been 100% a cutscene. That should have been the big reveal, like they did with the Witch Queen. That revealed the witness, and you're like, oh my god! Even if it was just a voice, an echo. If we were literally like in Shadowkeep, we literally get a cutscene where we see our own person, and it's the witness communing with us. They could have done something so simple and easy that could have echoed that. But we didn't get that. It's crazy. I didn't even remember the winner's name. Like, and there isn't an, I like that there's lore in game, and that's great, but not everyone wants to sit and read a book or a paragraph or two paragraphs to understand something when it should just be, this is not like, it's not Elden Ring, right? Where you read the weapons and you get dialogue for, like, you want it in game. That's what the game should be. You should be able to hear it and see it from game. And that's always been my thoughts on Destiny. Is like the content and story should not be in the books or the weapons. It needs to be actually in game. I don't know who actually likes this. And another thing is, all these seasonal beats and stuff literally just get washed away after a year. There is no reason why someone who's new to Destiny needs to watch a 10-hour My Name is Bife video to understand what the hell the story is, to understand what the heck is going on. It should be in the game. Can you play Red War right now? No. What was the point of Destiny 2? I don't know. It's not in the game. And cutscenes. Oh, we have little cutscenes. Oh, isn't that great? I would rather just be able to either watch an entire video about it in the game or play the content. Again, how many story beats and key points of the game aren't even in the game? And if they are, they're so swept under the rug. Most people don't know where the hell. Like, I did not even know that the winnower actually talked to us. And I literally have sweat my balls off grinding the final shape out. And I didn't even know that the winnower actually talked to us. Like, why was that not an actual mission or something that was impactful in the campaign?
It was like, hey, thanks for doing all this dirty work for me. Appreciate you. Keep killing. Keep doing the thing. I'm all about sword logic, and you fuckers like to eat. So you're going to continue killing stuff and doing your thing because that's just naturally what you do. Appreciate you. Eventually, we're going to get to that point, and there's going to be a lot of like stuff in between now and that point that may not matter to you. I don't think we're necessarily in filler territory. I think what we're in is canon territory still. And I think contextually, everything is, Maya is important. Just like I think next episode is going to be important. Is it going to be as important as Heresy? Probably not. Heresy is probably going to be the most important, right? We're literally going to be repairing the Dreadnought. We're going to use the Dreadnought to go to wherever the frontier may be. But I will say this. If you want to skip what you perceive as filler content right now and catch it on a Bife video, dude, go right ahead. You guys.
I really don't think that should be the case. I think if you feel like you can just watch a video on YouTube, then it's not good content, right? Like, who's like, you know what? I don't care about the Halo story. I'm just going to skip it and just watch it on YouTube. No, people wanted to play the Halo campaigns. They wanted to be invested in in the story. Insert your favorite game. You wanted to actually play it. You didn't want to sit there and watch a video. And if you feel like the content is filler and you would rather watch it on YouTube, that's the problem.
Guys can jump into heresy, or you could just jump back into frontiers. And look, I know this is not a solution. You're like, dude, you're telling us to stop playing the game. I'm personally going to be playing because I'm here for all the contextual stuff. Like,
yeah, and I already paid. I'm getting my money's worth. I literally paid for the episodes or seasons 2.0.
I like the game. I'm willing to trudge through the missions to get that one because I'm a fan of all the little things there. Now, is D3 going to be necessary? I think at some point it probably is. I think at some point, and there are even veteran players that are like, I'm ready for that hard reset. My thing is I don't want to play a Destiny 3 unless Destiny 3 presents something that truly overtakes our experience here in Destiny 2. Because if it...
And I'm going to stop there. That is probably the biggest statement to be made of why Destiny 3 should not exist. What will a Destiny 3 do differently than what we have right now? Do you think they're really going to put, graphics? Okay. Yeah. What are they going to do any differently? They literally refuse to use any other engine. Tiger engine is their engine. They've used it since Halo 2. They might update it. Oh, okay. Is that real graphics? Okay. So we have prettier graphics. Is that really what's going on? Oh, well, we have too much stuff. We have too much stuff in the game. The game can't handle it. That's why it breaks so much. Okay, so we're going to delete everything, and then we're going to reprise all the raids because everyone's going to be upset that they can't play the old raids. Oh, but you can just go back to Destiny 2. No. No. If people are going to make the jump forward, they're not going to want to go back. The whole concept of having raids is you have to have people to play with, right? And people want the content that they paid for to continue to thrive. There's a reason why very few people still play D1. Now, granted, there is a significant difference between D1 and D2. I would actually say that D2 has gone leaps and bounds beyond what Destiny 1 ever did. Even the raids from D1 are pale comparison compared to the revised ones in D2. Like, truly. But we're going to sit here and have this argument about Destiny 3 being a necessity, but what is it going to do any differently? Or do you think that Bungie's suddenly going to get rid of seasons and episodes? You think that's going to change? You think it's going to change their micro transaction model? You think it's going to change the gunplay? No. What different? They're going to release a new Destiny 3. They're going to wipe the board. We're going to get only a couple of guns. People are going to be upset because there's not enough guns to play with. There's not enough content. They're going to consume it, and then they're going to complain because there's not enough to do. And then they're going to go right back to Destiny 2 because there's more to do there than there is in Destiny 3. And then they're going to release seasons or episodes, and people are going to complain because it's the same thing that was in Destiny 2, and nothing's different. Nothing's changed. I think people are delusional if they think that Destiny 3 is going to save Destiny. But my argument is, what will fundamentally be different in a Destiny 3 that they couldn't already do in Destiny 2? Do you want to know why people don't like seasons? And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it loud, and I'm going to say it proud. Crafting. Crafting has killed this game. There's a reason why Onslaught popped the crap off. One, the activity, it was one singular activity that people spent months grinding. Two, none of the weapons were craftable, but they did have shiny variants that were very rare, so it was something to actually chase. And three, there were good guns. Sorry, I was formulating the thought in my head. There were good guns. There were good combinations. People actually give a crap. How many guns currently in this episode people care about? One. There's only one that really stands out, and that's the sidearm. That's it. That's only. And you watch people, YouTubers talk about guns and what's worth growing for. They always talk about the sidearm. That's it. There is nothing that's good or anything that's like overly wow that chase. It's very mid stuff. Now, sure, if you're a new player, everything looks great. I'm talking from someone who's played the game since the beginning, and you have like every gun, you have every collection. That's the problem with crafting, because you grind out the crafting, you make the god roll, and you're done. There's no special variants. There's nothing to chase. And I'll give them credit. Enigma, the activity was actually a twist. It was new, and you can get multiple perks on the returning weapon, saint weapons, which is great. The dawning weapons coming back with more random rolls, and you get more one. That's great, but even those are boring. There's nothing exciting about them compared to what we have crafted already. The reason why Onslaught popped off is because the one singular activity was good. And again, people wanted the cool, shiny drop rates that were rare. But you literally the episode weapons all drop like candy. I literally almost have everything craftable. It's boring. I get loot and I don't care about it. I'm not excited to see it. All I care about, does it have a red border? If it doesn't, delete. I'm not even looking at it. And that's the problem with episodes. There's nothing to chase. And when you don't have good loot, no one gives a crap about it. So those are like the two things that people want: good loot. They need to get rid of crafting, stop doing crafting, make the loot actually viable. And there is 100% ways to make loot that you want without power creep. There is. Now, is it my job to figure that out? No. But I can tell you, removing the craftability of things, and I know that's going to trigger a lot of casuals, but what they need to do is find better ways for people to get older guns. I mean, literally, Onslaught still exists. You can still get those guns, and they still have the great rolls. Sure, you have limited time for shinies. Imagine every episode there was a limited time to get shinies. People would grind for those variants. Get rid of the crafting, get good rolls, good guns. People want to chase them. They want the shinies. They literally had bread and butter, and they just threw it in a dumpster. And again, like I said, I don't think Destiny 3 would save Destiny. Because fundamentally, if it doesn't do anything different, all it's going to do is going to piss everyone off. And I know this video is long, but I'm getting into the trenches. Look at Destiny 2. When it released, people were mad because it didn't do anything good. It didn't benefit the game. People were upset with Destiny 2 at launch. Did it have a great story? Sure. But afterward, there was no content, and they had fundamentally made the game worse. It took years of fixing the mistake, years of other content for them to get Destiny 2 back on track. It took Forsaken to really solidify Destiny 2 as a decent game. There is no shot that a Destiny 3 would fundamentally change unless we're talking about we are 100% changing Destiny as we know it. We're going into like a first ascendant third person shooter. Like, we're changing mechanics. Like, you have to drastically change it. And do I think that would be good? I'm not saying it would, but I'm saying like there has to be a reason for people to want to switch over. And I think what they should do is work on improving the game Destiny 2 first before we jump ship on a project that we don't even know if it will even be an improvement. It might just be another D2 situation where on launch it's just garbage. We'll see. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Like I said, I wish we had more instances of Onslaught. I wish they put more effort and care. I don't think D3 should happen unless there's a reason. And that's it. Like, I don't think episodes are it. I don't think episodes will save things. They're just literally seasons 2.0. If I missed any points that I said I would talk about, my apologies. This video is long enough. It's crazy the amount of delusion and copium people have. Fix Destiny 2 first and then move on. Unless you're really going to change things. I'm so skeptical. And for many, if they made a D3, that's it. People are done. They're not going to D3. And I think Bungie knows that. We'll see. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. The full video will be down below. I'll give the link so you can watch the full thing. I just wanted to watch a tidbit. Until next time, don't forget to be the best version of yourself. And as always, game out. Huzzah.